guys, welcome back to my Coco Chanel. If you're a returning subscriber, and I've been gone for a long time, but if you're new, welcome. My name is Layla Zai. Yeah, you will get to know me over the course of these videos, I guess. So today is going to be last week, was it last week? I'd say it's like last week or two weeks ago. Last week's weekend, we had the Miss Unilus pageant, and I won first princess. Yeah, so that's what this is. It's super cute. I will do like a close-up of the crown. I think it's really pretty. I hope you guys can see it. Very adorable. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about my experience on the pageant. I think all the way from like auditions up until the end of the day. I can 100% tell you that the actual day went by so quickly, and to be honest, a lot of it was a blur. Like, it feels like a blur. I remember small bits and pieces, but I don't remember everything, which is what my friend Tando, the girl who won Miss Unilus, she also said that as well. Like, for us, it was both a blur, and it was just really hard to really, I don't know, like, it's still sinking in that I won. So yeah, very interesting. But I'm going to try to do this in the most structured way. I do have questions that I've airdropped from my phone to my iPad, which I did on Instagram, so I'll be answering those in the end. But for now, I'm just gonna like talk about my overall experience from auditions, and then any advice, and then I'll go to those questions. So for me, I have never had a background in pageants, so for me this was my first time doing it. My mom was the first Miss Universe. She was Miss Universe Zambia 1995. I never had any influence from her, like, to go into pageants whatsoever. It was something that personally just came upon me. So last year I came to Unilus in July, and I was in my first semester. I'm now in first. So when I attended the Miss Unilus pageant, I really liked what it stood for, the empowerment. And I mean, I feel like everyone thinks of pageants as very superficial and just about looks, but when I started, personally, when I was in the pageant myself, I understood that it's a lot more than just looks. There's a lot of dedication, mental strength, physical strength, confidence. There's a girlhood, a womanhood, like there's a sisterhood and stuff like that, and it's a really beautiful thing. And for me, watching the pageant last year, it was like, oh, okay, this is something I actually like. And I think what really opened my eyes was the person that actually handed over the first runner-up position to me. Her name is Sam. So if I remember correctly, last year she was given a question about her thoughts on the pageant and stuff like that, and she was talking about how people only see it at like face value as a very superficial, very like a popularity contest to do with vanity and stuff like that, but there's so much more that goes into it, and I feel like that really opened my eyes. I also love the creativity and stuff, so I knew that when I was coming this year, that when we were going into our new academic year, I was like, I'm gonna do this. Also, please bear with me I have really bad flu that I'm recovering from. So if my voice sounds weird, that's why. I was actually supposed to film this last week when I actually won, but I was down bad with the flu. So now it's like a little bit better, and that's why I'm recording. There's like a lot of other content I need to film, so I thought I must just get this out of the way. Also, if you see me sipping from this, it's just coffee. Yeah, so fast forward to this year. After our final exams for first year second semester, over the break I found out that they were doing the auditions for Miss Unilus, and I was like, yes, like this is my moment. And they were online auditions, so they were not physical. So you sent like a 1 minute video, I think it was like 5 minutes, maybe like 3, I don't remember. But you send like a little introduction explaining about yourself, and then another video of you like walking, like doing like a little walk and talk, not walk and talk, sorry, like you catwalking. So like I had 2 videos. I'll try and put like little clips of them somewhere here. So yeah, those 2 things are what I did. And then after that, I had actually bought my evening gown because I told my mom like from earlier on in the year that I wanted to do the pageant, and I was like, I'm like 100% sure I want to do this. And then when we sent in the auditions, just because you send an audition doesn't mean you get in, but I said I know I'm going to get in, so I went ahead of time and I bought my evening gown. I bought it way before I even got confirmation that I was in, because I just had this feeling. I was like, this is gonna be my year, I'm gonna get in, and I know I'm gonna wear that dress and I know I'm gonna win. Like I had been telling myself that from last year in the pageant. Like something in me was like, you're going to go and do the pageant and you're gonna win. So yeah, that's how that happened. So the waiting process between me sending my audition, I think I sent it in like July. It was in late July, and then I waited up until about mid-September. That's when they got back to me, and then I was added into the actual official group for the pageant. And then we had our first meeting together. Note that the first meeting we had together as contestants was not our final lineup of contestants, because initially there were more girls than guys, and a lot of the girls ended up dropping, and then there were more guys that joined, and then I think there were about 8 guys, and then there were 5 girls. Yeah, there were either like 8 or 9 guys, and then there were 5 girls in the end, like our final lineup of people. So at the end of September, we were having our, was it September? No, when do we, what month is this now? I think it was like, actually no, it might have been maybe mid-September, purely because I'm trying to like remember the timeline. Our rehearsals actually started the week we started having our mid-semesters, like as business students. So I remember like balancing my schedule. So like I would communicate ahead of time, okay, I have a morning exam, so I can come for rehearsals in the afternoon. And if I had an afternoon exam, I would come after my exam to go and rehearse. So initially in the beginning, the 2 people who started the pageant, like who started rehearsals, we're the ones that ended up winning. Like from the very beginning, it was us 2. It was me and Tando. So like we were the first ones who were always there at rehearsal, and like we were one of the core people that were there from the beginning up until the end of the day, versus people that like kind of started slotting in towards like maybe halfway through rehearsals, and some people towards the end. So yeah, rehearsals were very fun and interesting. It definitely pushed me in terms of what I thought I was capable of, even just building confidence. I don't think I'm the same person that I was before. I feel like I have a lot more confidence as a person. You really learn a lot. So when you're in rehearsals, it's not just, you know, like I feel like people make pageants like, oh no, you're just walking on stage. No, it's a process. And to be honest, I didn't know how much went into it until I was there. You really have to be dedicated. You have to be passionate about it because it's something that is like physically draining. I won't lie, it's physically draining. I think I had like 1 or 2 breakdowns, I think like a week before the pageant, like a week before the actual pageant. I had like a breakdown. It's physically draining, it's mentally draining, it's emotionally draining, but it's also, I feel like, one of those things where even though it's draining and they're like beating you, the pressure is what, if you turn the pressure into something good, you will turn into a diamond. If you don't deal with the pressure well, you'll crumble and fall. I feel like that's how I personally took it. I feel like I learned so much from my mentors. We had Machela, we had the first princess, the first runner-up, Sam, and then we also had Miss Unilus. Her name is Shamiso. And then we also had our executives. They also helped here and there. So they were very involved towards the end, like making sure the whole presentation, like of the pageant from start to finish, flowed seamlessly and that we knew everything that we were doing. But I feel like the process of like, you know, like you go into your heels, they advise you to like walk in the heels you walk on the day. So the heels that I wore from day 1 in rehearsal up until the day of the pageant are the same heels that I wore. So you learn how to like stand, your posture. They teach you different ways how to walk for different categories because you don't walk the same. So like there's a cocktail walk, the one that's slower for your evening gown, and then you have like the other walks that like are much more fast-paced. And then they also taught us like poses and stuff like that. I personally was already like growing my interest in pageantry since last year, so there were a few pageant accounts on TikTok that I used, which I can't remember them, but there are a lot of Filipino it's a lot of like, if you search like pasarela routines, there's like I think like 2 or 3 Filipino guys that do really good pageantry advice on like different walks and variations and turns that you do, and I use them a lot. Like I used those videos to help me choreograph my walks for the different categories. Yeah. And then we also practiced Q&A. So Q&A is like one of the last sections of the pageant that's in your evening gown, where after everyone has walked for their, like in their evening gown or in the guys' suits, because it was Mr. and Miss Unilus this year. So they ask you your questions, and I feel like I loved Q&A. Like Q&A was something I loved. I love questions that make you think, and the way Q&A is you really have to think on the spot and give not a perfect answer per se, but you have to give your opinion and give it in the most perfect way, but in time. So what we were told is that your Q&A really is just your own personal opinion, like you're talking to a friend. But we were also told that we should make sure that we answer the question, and that how we answer the question is also important, which is why I was talking about the perfection. So you don't want to sound too robotic, but you also don't want to sound like you don't know what you're talking about, like hesitating. You can't be like no. So you have to sound like it has to sound very fluid. You're being given a question for the first time, and then you have to think of an answer really quickly and you have to answer it in your own opinion, but in a very seamless, and to be honest, it should sound like, it should sound perfect in a way, but it should sound natural at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I loved the Q&A, and then then in terms of like picking outfits, so let me actually just put it out there. This year's theme was Echoes of the Iconic. So what that meant was we were supposed to pick an icon and embody them throughout all our categories. So we had 5 categories. So everything excluding the first category, and I think the last one, we were supposed to embody our icons. So the categories were 1, introduction, which didn't have to be inspired by icon because everyone did a 007 introduction, like it was a group devised piece. Then round 2 was fashion icon, 3 was talent, 4 was culture, and then 5 was cocktail evening gown. So my icon was Marilyn Monroe. When they told us the theme, that was the first woman, like that was the first person that came to my mind, because I love her. Like I genuinely love her as a person. I'm an actor. I did acting and theater from the time I was 9, and it's a profession that I take seriously. Like it's something I want to do, and I am doing as a career. So when I found out, I was like, oh my gosh, let me do Marilyn Monroe. And I've always had an interest in her from, especially when I was in like IB, like because the work that I was doing in theater for my extended essay was on like Stanislavski and method acting, and in part of my work I researched on Marilyn Monroe because I believe she did method acting. Yeah, was Stanislavski, I don't remember, that was a long time ago, but she was in my research. But I never had like gone fully in depth about her, but I've always just known about her, and I've just always loved her. Like when I see little clips of her on TikTok, like from films and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this woman is very, like she was so unique. And even the small tidbits I saw of her, I was like, I really want to like get into that character. So I really did my research on her like thoroughly. I watched her films, and then I decided to like integrate that into how I wanted to embody her through my outfits. I wanted to capture, like in everything that I did, I wanted to take people, like the audience and the judges, back into like the 1960s, like I wanted to take them back in time as if they were looking at a picture from the past. So that was what I did through her outfits. I did an outfit for a fashion icon inspired by her. There was a dress that she wore where she was at the subway and then the wind flew up. And then for talent, I did Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. I love that performance. And then for culture, I did flapper dances, and I think that's one of my favorite outfits other than my evening gown. But yeah, like I really wanted to embody her in everything, and I would say that my coaches, Shamiso and Sam, were the ones who really drilled it into me. They were like, okay, you're doing Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe is this really big, she's this very confident woman, so make sure you're embodying that through facial expressions and stuff like that. So I really, I spent my time in the mirror. I was putting her music in a loop, like when I was in the shower. I was performing as much as I could in the time that I wasn't rehearsing. Our rehearsals were like 5 to 8 hours long. So, and they were every day. And then on weekends and closer to the event, they were like even 10 hours long. So I really just wanted to make sure I was prepared in everything that I did. Yeah, I really tried to make sure I was prepared in every aspect. Hey, I had an interruption. So I'm filming this next part in the evening. Yeah, I'm gonna film as much as I can. If I can't do this all today, I will film the rest tomorrow, so the outfit will probably change. So now I'll go on to advice. Again, I don't really have a list. I'll just go over the things I feel like helped me. So the first thing is, think of yourself as the winner. I feel like, especially for someone like me that has very bad imposter syndrome, even on the day, as much as I tried not to feed into my imposter syndrome, it really came into me very quickly, and I had to remind myself, like, no girl, like, you're the winner. Like, you need to have confidence and self-love in yourself, because how are the judges, how are the audience going to get that queen energy, the energy deserving of a winner, if you don't have that in yourself? If you don't believe that you're the winner, no one else is going to believe that, you know what I mean? So I think that's the first thing. 2, make sure if you're doing the pageant, you're doing it for you and you're passionate. Because when things get tough, when things become stressful, if you're not passionate about it, it'll be very easy for you to just board the ship and go. The third thing I would say is embrace everything. Embrace the experience, the friendships you'll make, because the day goes so fast. So just embrace every little moment with your fellow contestants. Which leads me to 4, I hope I'm counting correctly. The other contestants, this is more for the women, I'm not talking about the guys. As much as the women are your contestants, you also need to embrace sisterhood. Help each other if you need to, you know. Obviously not in a way that, like, you know, like you're babying someone and like you're spoon feeding them and helping them with every bit and piece. But if you see that someone is struggling, help them. Like, I understand that it's a competition, and I know with girls it's very easy to just be very mean. I think that's like that was an assumption I brought into my head going into the pageant, that I was going to find girls that were very competitive, you know, snarky, people that kind of act like they know it all, that they're all that, and they're mean and stuff like that. But no, like, it was such a warm environment. We were always laughing, we were always being silly and doing all sorts of crazy things, and we were, even after the pageant, we still talk and we're now friends and stuff like that. So I feel like you just need to really embrace that. And then 5, I would say, this was advice I was given, again, practice in the heels that you're going to wear on the day. It not only helps you become comfortable with the heels, especially if they're new, so that you can break into them, but also because you know how to walk in them, versus you practicing the whole 1 month in certain heels and then on the day choosing to wear different ones. You'll end up messing up, you won't be comfortable and stuff like that, and you don't want that. 6, I would say, in your performances, make sure you give it your all. Be passionate, just express yourself and operate at 150% in each performance. And one thing I would definitely say is, if you make a mistake, it should be something that only you know. Other people shouldn't be able to tell that you've made a mistake. I know personally, I choreographed every single one of my walks, my routines for every single category, and I still made mistakes, like where I was rehearsing back to back. Like, I was like, I know after this I'm gonna do this turn, I'm gonna do my hands like this. On the day, some of those things flew out of my head, and I remember Sam told me, she was like, even on the day you're gonna forget things, so just make sure you know how to like pull it back in. You don't want to point like where you're on stage and then you're like frozen, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's that. I hope that was 6. I'm going to 7 now. 7, if you don't win, And I'm not even talking about first and second. I'm just talking about placing and stuff like that. If you don't win, it's not the end of the world. The experience is, the experience is great and everything. And I feel like you grow so much as a person if you take it the right way. One of our coaches, Shamiso, she was like, if you don't win, lose with grace. Personally, for me, I didn't the thing is, when we were 5, right, as girls, and then when they picked us for top 3, I was the first person that was, like, in no particular order, they picked for top 3. And then when we were going to top 2, I was shocked that I was in top 2 because of the same imposter syndrome. Like, I have this thing where I feel like I don't do good enough, and like what I did, even if other people tell me it's amazing and it's excellent, I don't believe in that. So I was genuinely shocked. So for me to even get to that place where I was in top 2, I felt like that was such an achievement. And for me, just, like, it was my first time being in a pageant and stuff like that. So I felt like that was more than enough, and I couldn't be more grateful to share that experience and have this reign with Tando, because like, she's such an amazing person. We literally share brains. Like, we talk all the time. Like, I couldn't imagine a better duo. But just be a girl's girl. Like, support each other. Like, be there for each other. Like, go bestie, like, they're my best friend. Like, do that. Like, support each other. Even after the pageant. Life doesn't end after the pageant. Your life doesn't end whether you win, whether you lose. It doesn't define you as a person. I think that's more than enough. If I think of anything, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. But I'm gonna go to the Q&A questions now. Let me just find them. So these are the questions I asked people last week. So I'll start at the top. So, what you felt when you were called for top 2? The emotions, the thoughts, everything. When I was called for top 2, I cried. I was genuinely shocked. Like, I was shocked. If you see the footage, like, I was genuinely shocked. I was like, what? Me? I was like, me? Yeah, I was very shocked, very emotional. Tando and I were like crying, like when we got there. When we were holding hands, the moment we both stood there, we were both crying before they even announced anything. So yeah, thoughts on everything. I feel like I felt everything, and not nothing, but like I felt everything at the same time, and it happened like the day went so quickly. I don't remember anything except changing clothes into the next category. I don't remember anything other than I did our group introduction, like our performance. I remember my performances, like the categories, but then like everything after that was a blur. Like after Q&A, when we were waiting for results backstage, I was so stressed. I feel like everything just kind of blurred. Even after I won, it didn't sink. It still doesn't sink in my head that I won. So yeah. Next question. Did you make any new friends? Yes. So I'm really good friends with Tando, Miss Unilus. I'm friends with Nosipo. She's second princess. She came third. And then for the guys, I'm friends with Perez, Mr. Unilus, and then Mutende, who's our first prince. Yeah. And then I'm still in contact with other people, but those are the people that I talk to the most. Yeah. How was the experience overall? I think the experience was amazing. Personally, I feel like, again, I'll say I'll keep on repeating this. I feel like I've grown so much as a person. Like I know myself better. And there's just like a level of, like there's a certain level of confidence that I think the pageant pulls out of you. Like it really opens you up and transforms you like a butterfly. How I practice for the pageant. So I practice for the pageant in a mixture of, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 things. 1, the rehearsals we would do. 2, in my own free time in my room, if I had space and time, if I was by myself, I would try and rehearse in the heels, rehearse and make my choreo in my own time. And I'd also try and rehearse in my outfits, given they were here. Yeah. And then I would also rehearse in the room about an hour to 2 hours before the actual rehearsal started. So if rehearsal started at 2, I would go at like 1. Sometimes I'll go 30 minutes before and stuff like that. Then, did you vlog your prep? If yes, show us. So I have a lot of prep videos. I'll put small clips here, but I'll also like probably post them on like my TikTok as well. But I did a lot of videos like in my room, like I said, me like making my own choreo, me trying on my outfits, me walking in our rehearsal room. Yeah. How did you feel during the experience? I experienced like during the rehearsals, I genuinely enjoyed it. I feel like how did you feel during the experience? I felt, again, I felt lots of different emotions. Initially, it was nerves because like I didn't know what to expect from everyone, and then at some point like you get familiarized with people, but then at the same time you need to remember that we were told that some people can like hold back. So like you'll see someone who'll be shy in rehearsal, then on the day they'll completely shock you. So it was something that I always kept in the back of my mind, that the same way I'm performing and I know myself, the way I'm rehearsing here, I'm not giving 100%. I should also expect other people to be there. So there's that level of like uncertainty that I felt because I didn't know how things would be on the day. And because of the way the pageant is, you can't really watch people when they're performing because you're either backstage changing and prepping and stuff like that. What was your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it? I think I mentioned this, imposter syndrome. I think my biggest challenge for me was myself. Yeah, it's usually myself. I'm someone that I'm a perfectionist, so there's like a certain structure I want things to be in. And the moment something deviates from that, I no longer think that that thing is good. So something that I've always tried to change in my head is that instead of aiming for perfection, aim for excellence, because excellence is performing to the highest standard possible. Perfection is no mistakes, and unfortunately there's always going to be some sort of mistake. So that's something that I just had to learn, especially something that one of our coaches told us was that on the day things will go wrong. Sound won't work, your music won't work, so you should be prepared for things like that. And I feel like those are the tiny small little mistakes that if you don't, like for me personally, if I let them get to me, I probably would have just crumbled and like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Like for example, I felt that during my performance, I felt that I felt that I was competing with the sound. I thought that it was too loud. I thought that it was too loud. And then I personally thought that I sounded bad because I felt like I was competing with my mic and the audio. So I was like, okay, this sounds really bad. And then when I went backstage, people were like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, that was great. And I was like, bro, like that sounded so bad to me. Like even my performances, I felt like I was doing such a bad job. But then the feedback I was being given was that, no, this is great. Like, this is really, really good. I don't know why, like I feel like you're your worst enemy in situations like that. But I feel like just telling myself to breathe. Like I remember during my talent performance, I can actually remember like the section in the performance where I like had to calm myself and soothe myself while I was performing. I was like, girl, breathe. I was like, breathe, it's fine. And then I feel like after that, I feel like my nerves definitely went down, especially after talent. I'm gonna try and do the remaining ones quickly because I have a space issue. I feel like I had already, there's a lot of questions about experience and stuff like that. Then there's a question that said what made me decide to participate. I think I kind of already discussed that. Like it was just a personal, you know, internal thing. Yeah. Yo guys, I'm sick. This is a sign. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, please put them down below. I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next video because I have a new video that's supposed to be going up soon. We're recording it. There's a lot of footage, like there's a lot of content that I want to do. I want to become more active on YouTube. I feel like this has really motivated me to just put myself out there more and share my voice and my opinions and my passions. So I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.